All right, 1-6, part 3. So what we are doing today is reflections. A reflection is when a figure, line, or curve is flipped over a line or reflection. We actually kind of covered it yesterday, but we're going to go take a little deeper dive into it. All right, example 1. Describe the transformation of f of x equals x squared. And we have two problems. A is g of x equals -2 x minus 4 squared plus 7. And I'll give you a second to catch up. I have a silly answer.
What's the difference between f of x and g of x? Is there a difference?
First of all, I just made the line disappear. Let's get our priorities straight. I'm happy about that. Sorry, like I said, my ADD kicked in. I'm OCD too, which is different than ADD, and that was bothering me, so I had to go. All right. So the difference is if you look right here, the blue graph is f of x, and the red graph is g of x. They're just different graphs, that's all.
Okay.
Good question. I have a question for you now.
Okay.
What's the difference between g of x and y? Nothing is the correct answer. All right, good job.
On a test, we could write g of x, or f of x, and it would still be right.
Well, it depends on what it's asking.
Okay.
So, if it says, because if you have more than one graph and it wants to know what is going on, what's the transformations of g of x, and you tell me g of x equals the translations for f of x, and that's not right.
Okay.
But you're right. I mean, you can use anything. Just most commonly, you use f for function.
Okay.
G for graph. I just made that up. I'm lying to you, Chloe.
No, I believed it.
I believed it too. So, but then came to I, and I was like, got nothing.
You got nothing. It's okay.
All right, so describe the transformations of f of x equals x squared. So what I suggest you do is get out your little foldable, because this will make your life easier. And is this right here, that is an A term. How do I know that? Because it's in front of my parentheses, so that's an A term. What is the negative sign telling me to do? Let's see, let's open up our A value. Oh, it's at the bottom actually, because it says reflections, negative. So if it is outside my parentheses, see how this is outside my parentheses? That means it's my A term. If it makes life better for you to write A there and B there, then please by all means do so. Can you use this foldable on the test?
Yeah.
As of right now, you can. So, all right, so my A term is negative. So what does that mean? It reflects across the x-axis. So that's our first answer, is reflect across x-axis. All right. We're a quarter of the way through this problem. What does the 2 tell us about this? Let's see. It is outside the parentheses, so it's an A value still. And it's greater than 1. I know it's negative, but just look at the 2. Isn't 2 greater than 1?
Yeah.
So it's a vertical stretch. And since it's outside the parentheses, it's vertical. Vertical stretch. What are the odds of you seeing a question like this again next Wednesday? Extremely high. All right, we're in parentheses. Parentheses control left to right. So Ari, what is the going on here? Our graph is going what way? Our vertex is going what way? Left or right? You are correct, because it's in parentheses. It is a liar, so it's going right 4. And Ruben, what's the 7 telling us to do? What way is the 7 telling us to go? It's outside the parentheses, so it has to be up and down. So is it up 7 or down 7? Very good, up 7. All right, you're done with that problem. All right, try this one with your neighbor. And then make sure they have it right, because remember, you're the smartest person at your table. All right, so g of x equals, in parentheses, negative x squared minus 10. And I'm going to open my mail and take attendance while you are doing that. Maybe. Chloe, what don't you know?
Well, it's in the parentheses.
Yeah?
Liar.
Right, but if it's in parentheses, it's a negative sign, right?
Yeah.
So if we look at our foldable, where does it say negative on there? On the very bottom.
Yeah.
So when you open that, which one has the negative in it? The bottom one does, right?
Yeah.
So what's happening?
Over the wire.
If you say so.
Okay.
Does it matter if you write reflect across or over? Does it matter?
No.
No. All right, so since we're already halfway done with this problem, because there's only 2 things happening to it, Wonder, what's 10 doing? Telling us to do? All right, congratulations, you can do this. Because that's a 1 there. Your B term is a 1, and your A term's a 1, so it's not being stretched. Good question. All right, let's graph a problem. So this is example 2. In example 2, we're going to do a graph. And actually, I know this is redundant, but guess what we're doing tomorrow? Graphing absolute values. So we're kind of getting ahead of the curve a little bit today. Actually, never mind. That was going to be terrible. I caught myself. All right, let's just go on. Graph g of x equals negative 2, absolute value x minus 4. In order to graph, what do we need? A graph, so please draw a graph. And I'm not doing anything else on this page, so I'm going to take up the rest of it. All right, I'm going to try and be as neat as possible. All right, we have a graph. All right, I personally would make a function table to graph this. I think it's easier. But before I choose my points for my function table, I want to find out where my graph begins. Is the graph going up and down at all? The vertex of the graph, is it going up or down? No, it's going to be on my x-axis. So, Radha, since you're bored, what is this telling me in the absolute value? That my vertex is going where? How far? So I know that my vertex is going to be at 4, 0. I know my vertex has to be there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what point should I have in the middle of my function table? What would make the most sense? 4. Mm-hmm. And then I would go 2 to the left and 2 to the right. Does that make sense how I came up with that? Because I know that's going to be my vertex, the highest or lowest point of my absolute value. Connor, are you good with that? All right. So now we just fill in. Negative 2 times 2 minus 4 equals. What is 2 minus 4? Negative 2, but it's an absolute value, so Lexi said it must be, if it's an absolute value, it must be positive. Yeah, you had it, positive. So what is 2 times negative 2? Negative 4. Can you use a calculator on this if you really wanted to? Yes. Honestly, I don't know how to use the absolute value on the calculator that you'll have access to on your quiz, so we might have to figure that out. All right, so negative 2, 3 minus 4 equals 3 minus 4 is negative 1, but it's an absolute value, so it's not allowed to be negative, so it's positive 1. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. All right, negative 2 times 4 minus 4. James, 4 minus 4? 0 times negative 2. And doesn't that make sense? We said our vertex should be at 4, 0. So that's good. All right, let's keep going. Negative 2, 5 minus 4. 5 minus 4 is 1. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. Negative 2 times 6 minus 4. 6 minus 4 is 2. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. So I'm going to go over 2, down 4. Over 3, down 2. Over 4, up 0. Over 5, down 2. Yep. Yes, with graphing. All right, so I went over 2, down 4. Over 2, down 4. And then I went over 3, down 2. Over 4, up 0. Over 5, down 2. And over 6, down 4. And if we did this right, what shape should it be? A V, an upside down V. Do we have an upside down V? Then we did it right. All right, please open your workbook to page 50. All right, we need example 6, so page 57. And it should look something like this. Not today. All right, suppose the path of a dolphin during a jump is modeled by g of x equals negative 0.125, x minus 12 to the second power plus 18, where x is the horizontal distance traveled by the dolphin, g of x is its height above the surface of the water. Describe how g of x is related to its parent function and interpret the function in the context of the situation. Because f of x is x squared, the parent function is a parabola, correct? X squared is a parabola. Yes, a U-shaped graph. What is my A term? My A term is the number in front of my parentheses. So what's my A term? negative 0.125 is correct, or 0.125 is correct too. My h is the number in the parentheses. What's the number in the parentheses? Now remember, your formula is x minus. So what is my h value? 12. Thank you. And your k value is the number all the way to the right. That is 18. So far, so good, David? Okay. 12 is greater than 0. So the graph of f of x is x squared is translated 12 units. Now remember, this is a liar, so it's not to the left, it's to the right. 18 is greater than 0, so the graph is translated k is not a liar, so it's going up. This would have taken longer to write this problem than it would to solve it, so that's why we're doing it in the workbook. I don't think I assigned any problems like this for the homework. This is just some good general knowledge practice. Dilation and reflection. Since 0 is less than or equal to the absolute value of negative 0.125 is less than 1, the graph, so pretty much this is saying it's a fraction. And what happens when your a term is a fraction? When your a term is a fraction, it is a compression. So it's compressed. I guess proper grammar would be compressed vertically. A is less than 0, so the graph of f of x, x squared is a... What's that negative right there telling us to do? What's this negative telling us to do? Reflect. So it's a reflection in the x-axis. Because a is negative, the path of the dolphin is modeled by a parabola that opens. Which direction is our parabola open, up or down? Oh, we've heard two answers. So let's think about this a little bit. I know you guys want to say, oh, this is stupid. When am I ever going to use this? Well, this is modeling a dolphin. Do dolphins start in the water, jump out of the water, and come back down? So what way is my parabola opening? Down. Yay, you came back. But I appreciate the effort, whoever set up. Thank you. This means that the vertex of the parabola HK represents the what of the dolphin? Because, oh my gosh, we have water here, right? Our dolphin comes out of the water and comes back down. So what is this point right here? Okay, it is the vertex, but if you remember earlier in the chapter we learned about extrema. Is this the minimum or maximum height of the dolphin? So is the maximum. On that note, turn the page, please, when you finish writing that. All right, this next one's a little bit tricky, I'm not going to lie. I shouldn't have done that, but that's okay. Identify an equation from a graph. Analyze a graph. The graph is an absolute value function with a parent function of f of x equals the absolute value of x. Analyze a graph to make your prediction about the values of a, h, and k in the equation y equals a absolute value x minus h plus k. The graph appears to be wider than the parent function. Is that true? Is this wider than this? Yes. Shelly's nodding her head up and down, so we're going to go with that means yes. Are we okay back there? All right. The graph appears to be wider than the parent function, implying a vertical. What happened to this? It was pushed down, it became fatter. So is that a stretch or a compress? Did it get pulled up or did it get pushed down? It got pushed down to make it wider, so it's a compress, a vertical compression. And is not reflected, so A is it positive or negative? Is it opening up or opening down? It's opening up, so it must be positive. Man, I feel like a dentist. I'm pulling teeth today. I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard more dentists is the #1 occupation for suicides. So probably because you're causing pain onto people. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I might have just made that up, but it seems as though that's not something I would make up. All right, the graph has also been shifted left and down from the parent function. So h is, which way did our graph go? It went to the left, correct? Yes. This point is left of here, so it is less than 0. It's less than this line here. It's less than 0. And k is down from our x-axis, so it's less than 0 as well. I think there's one problem like this on your assignment, which you're going to have almost all day tomorrow to do this assignment, so you don't have to do it tonight. Identify the horizontal and vertical translations to find the values of h and k. The vertex is shifted 3 units left, so it's 3 units to the left, so h must be -3. In the formula, it's going to be +3, but the actual h is -3. K is down how far? 1, 2, 3, 4, so k is -4. All right, so there's our equation. What did we say h was? Well, we said h was -3, so I'm going to plug in -3 right there. I'm sorry? Yes, you're a step ahead of us, though. You are correct, but just hold on just a second, please. All right, what's my k value? -4. So as Riley correctly said, do we like 2 negatives? 2 negatives become a positive, so that's why it's x plus 3. And then plus a -4, I don't like that, that's confusing, so we're just going to write -4. So now we have everything except for the a term. Identify the dilation and or reflection. Use the equation from step 2 and a point on the graph to find the value of A. So they used 0, 3. So what, or 0, -3. So they chose that point right there. Chloe, could they have chose any point?
Yes.
Yes, but that's just an easy point to work with, so they did that. All right. The point 0, -3 lies on the graph. Substitute the coordinates in for x and y. So what did they say y was? Y was, it's right here, -3. So I'm going to replace that with -3. X was 0. So we replace the x with 0. So let's do some advanced math. What's 0 plus 3? 3. So -3 equals 3a minus 4. And now what they did is they solved for a. I'm going to go over here and do it. -3 equals 3a minus 4. How do we get rid of a -4? I like that. 1 equals 3a. What's the 3 doing to the a? Multiplying, so to get rid of it, we divide. Your algebra teacher should be so proud. So a equals 1/3. And I know I'm going quick. We're down to less than 5 minutes. So write an equation for the function. Since a is 1/3, h is -3, and k is -4, my final answer is going to be g of x equals 1/3. Absolute value. And then we're just going to fill in right here. It's that right there, x plus 3 minus 4. All right, on that note, you do have an assignment tonight, but I'm going to give you probably 40 out of 46 minutes to work on it in class tomorrow. And we might do for tomorrow's lesson, maybe I'll do one problem for it, or maybe I'll give everyone credit tomorrow. We'll see what kind of mood I'm in tomorrow. All right, that's it for today. Please make sure you put your work